Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video to the channel. So in this video, we're going to be looking at a bit of a review of the better fletching methods. So we're going to be having a look into the Onyx bolts and the Ascension bolts as well. Now, the reason why I've done this, because we have done this video a couple of times on the channel, is that the prices shift an awful lot. And sometimes it can be better to fletch the bolts themselves, fletch and enchant, or basically just do some other methods instead. But what we're going to do first is what I like to do with all these kind of videos is we're going to go and check out the margin, because from the margin you'll know pretty quickly or not if this is going to be worthwhile. And this, with the bond account, I'm sort of having a bit of a search with some couple of methods that if we do need to go back into members, what can I do to make an awful lot of profit quick? So fletching can be one of those skills which can build up a bank and build up a very, very big GP stack. So the ones we're looking at, so Onyx bolts have two options. We can either do the Onyx bolts where we simply just fletch, which are currently selling for 6.1k, or the enchanted Onyx bolts, which is 6.7. Now, with the amount of GP that the enchanting costs, that is a very good price actually for the Onyx bolts E. So definitely one we're going to look into afterwards. But to make these, we need a couple of things. One is an Onyx bolt, which as you can see is very high in terms of its price. 6.7k basically means that in terms of Onyx bolts, we're going to have to rely quite heavily on all the buffs which we're going to have and have unlocked. Now, what I would highly recommend is try and buy for the lowest price possible. So as we see, we can just price check that. It's 6.7k for the Onyx bolt tip. Now the good thing is that with a little bit higher level, I think the Ascension bolts are like level 80. You can give yourself an extra option in terms of these fletching things to see whether you want to do it or not. Now, every couple of months, I kind of do this just for a way to make myself some alcohols with some extra profit as well. So with the Onyx tips, we're going to need to go and get a rune bolt, which currently comes at a price is 280, which is quite good though because of how expensive that Onyx bolt tip was. So 280, let's say we're all in for a price of 7,000 coins. And if we're going to go and check both the prices of the other stuff, the Onyx bolt is going to come in for a price of, and this is without enchanting, 6.3k, which is good because that's over mid. Yeah, that's a decent amount over mid for that, to be fair. And if we go and check the Onyx bolt E, the good thing with all these bolts is that because of the out price, they're quite well protected and you're never really going to be at risk of massively losing price. All you sort of worry is that getting that bolt tip just for enough profit to give yourself maneuverability just in case you do drop as well. So we're going to go and sell the bolt tip, and that's going to come in at a price of 6.6k. So pretty level in terms of the buy and sell price. So that's going to be the rune bolt to the Onyx bolt to the Onyx bolt as well. And in terms of the enchanting of the bolt, if that's 100 GP, that would be about right for what it's going to be. But 6.7k for the Onyx bolt tip is pretty heavy, and with it rising so much lately, I do imagine that in the future it's going to crash, which is only going to make this method better. We're going to do a sample size as always, because especially with this, I like to show you guys just how much you're going to get from things like the Fletching Cape, the portable Fletcher, the Ranger's Workroom, and the portable Fletcher as well. All these four things work together to create you extra resources, and we've gone over this with a lot of the Herblore videos, the crafting videos. These items all work together to give you the extra resources. Even though technically we're losing money by making these bolts, all of the extras we're going to make is where our profit is essentially going to be. So we're going to go and jump in and buy these supplies. We're going to do it with these Ascensions as well, and we'll get those bought. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to instant buy the Onyx bolts just because there's no point in waiting. I'd rather we get jumping on it quick and be able to give you guys enough of the good stuff. So we've bought those. I'm going to sort of say all in, that's a price of about 7 mil. And then the Ascension bolts. So with Ascension, they're a bit weird really, because the price of the bolt tip have come down significantly. These are pumped into the game by various different bosses, boss drop tables as well. But the Ascension side, what's weird is that the Ascension bolts got merged hard. And because there's just not the supply coming in, the prices just kept going up and up and up. Now, the price for Hydrix bolt, very similar to the Onyx bolt, very high. Not normally around 7k, but again, we're working off like these as a money making method, and obviously over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, more than likely they're going to drop down in price, which just gives you guys more scope to go and buy some for a decent price. Now, the Ascension bolt, 2.8k for that, which again, if you wanted to buy the Ascension shards and turn them into bolts, is just nice GP. And it's pretty decent for that. But 2.6k is under mid for these, so maybe these are coming down a little bit. So I'm just going to go and test this. So in terms of selling the Ascension bolt, you might be able to get a little bit of a bargain. Yeah, just under 2,000 coins. That's massively under mid. So even though the bolt tip is high, the bolt is low, sort of thing. So again, a 600 GP difference and a 300 GP difference for the bolt tip, it's pretty big. So what I'm going to work on in terms of price, if we go 2,000 coins for this, 6.9, it's going to be a perfect, nice, flat 9,000 coins. So 9,000 coins is pretty decent for that. We're going to go and buy 1,000 of this, and as well, we're going to go and test it out and go through what the best way to make some GP is. What I'm going to do after this as well, I'm debating whether I'm going to do the enchanting or whether I'm just going to throw into my auto alka. Again, I think I mentioned it before. I fletch these on a regular basis if I need to feed my auto alka, because I'm going to make money by doing the fletching and then more money on top by alking them as well, because they are pretty decent alk. You're looking like 1.5k, 2k profit per bolt, depending on where everything's currently sat. So just before we go, we need to kit ourselves out with all the items. So I'm going to need the brooch, because this is going to proc the portable fletching more often. And with fletching, we are going to need the fletching cape, because the fletching cape also gives us a chance to make extra ammo. And making extra ammo is where we're going to make our GP here. So if I just grab that, full, and then we're going to go to Fort Free, because the Ranger's workroom as well basically is the same effect and goes on top of everything else as well. So any fletching in terms of ammo or anything like that, you want to be in the Ranger's workroom, because you've got the chance of making the extra arrows just due to that as well. And what we'll see in my sort of like public chat is every time something contributes to making extra ammo, it will tell you where it comes from, whether that's the brooch, the portable, or the fletching cape, or the Ranger's workroom. So what I'm going to go and do is hop over to that world 84, to go and get a portable, and then we can start cracking out these bolts and see how we do in terms of procs for extra ammo. Right, so on to fletching. So once you give this a click, it will give you the options. And to be fair, this is like relatively AFK. Whenever I've got some downtime where I need to pay attention every now and then, I'll come do this kind of fletching, because it's really good to bank some alcohols for the machines. Really nice profit, and to be fair, it's only one click every like couple of minutes, so it's actually not too bad. So as you see in the info, the portable fletcher is jumped in, the brooch has jumped in, and we're getting a lot of procs of this as well. So this is where we're making the money. The Ranger's workroom has now jumped in. The only thing we're waiting for now is the fletching cape. But as you can see, the sheer amount of buffs and perks we're getting, which is creating extra ammo, is crazy. And this is where you're making the profit. And nowadays, it is really weird where you don't have to be worried about losing money making a resource. But as long as you've got these things which work alongside you and creates extra potions, extra items, extra bolts, that's where your profit's going to be. Now, this is really good for different things like potions and all that. But whenever we do those videos, we go through the info just to make sure you guys know it as well. But as you can see, the two big ones are the brooch and the fletcher. If you're going to do significant portable skilling, I would say that over the long run, you will quite comfortably pay off the brooch, just because it's going to save you so many resources going forward. There are other items instead of a brooch you can get. Like I say, like with Herblore, there's the mask. And with fletching, it's the cape, which, yeah, I suppose it's a little bit much. But we've just made an extra 160 bolts, which hopefully is going to put us in the profit of this as well. But in terms of bolts, you can do a huge amount per hour. And that's what you kind of have to really. Getting the amounts you can per hour, but also saving a resource as well. Those sort of combos what bring the real big profit, which these methods can do. I've seen these fletching methods go upwards of about 80 mil per hour. Currently off the Grand Exchange, currently off the wiki, it's roughly about 11.7 mil per hour, which I think you can take a little bit off that because of prices. But if you can like slow buy the resources and the prices, that is bang for level 73 fletching. Ascension might be a little bit different because I think the Hydrix really are high. But enchanting on top as well can be even better profit. But in terms of like how many of these you can do per hour, 20,000 bolts is roughly what you're going to aim for. And you're going to sort of be looking about 25k bolts is where you're going to end it if you've got all these buffs as well. So the extra 5k is what's going to be the majority of your profit. Yes, it's got to pay off a little bit of the deficit you took in from buying all these supplies. But you're going to be roughly about 180k fletching XP an hour, which compared to some of the newer methods, really isn't great. You can do a lot quicker methods, but the fact you're making this much profit per hour, it's so good. Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm basically going to just keep talking over the Sentry bolts, I'm going to go and fletch these Sentry bolts now, then we're going to go back, wrap everything up, and then finish this video once and for all. Right, so just finishing up the Sentry bolts. As you can see, not as good as the Onyx bolts. We didn't save as much, but again, that can happen. And generally, over time, it all sort of evens out. Anyway, so In terms of prices, the Ascension bolts is going to be a price of, I'll just examine it because then it can give you the out price as well. 7.7k for the grand exchange price and can out for 10.2. This is why I use it for my machines, because you're basically going to make for the price for Nature Rune an extra like 3k. So you're making a profit from making the extra bolts, but then also making a profit on top from alching the bolts as well. So 9k is what we were all in for these 100 bolts. 1.2 mil profit, which again isn't bad. But when you think that you should be making 20 times that per hour, that kind of shows you the sheer profit which is here as well. So in terms of the Onyx bolts, if we examine the Onyx bolts, they're going to be 6.1k, little less, 8.1k there. But we bought these for, I believe it was 7 mil, and that's coming at a price of 8.8. Again, it's outperformed these 100 bolts, but we have got a lot of those procs as well. Now, for one final thing as well, you can enchant both these and also increase their out price. Ascension bolts roughly 4.5 mil per hour to enchant these. Again, one spell does 10 bolts. Don't get confused and think it's 1 for 1. It's not. It's one spell, 10 bolts. So the spell cost you divide by 10. I think with the Cosmic and Death Rune, you're not looking more than sort of 100 GP per bolt, which again is really worthwhile doing. Again, 4.5 mil per hour for Ascension bolts, and Onyx bolts you're probably looking about 3 to 4 mil per hour, depending on the price. Again, the overall price for the bolt to buy is quite high, so if you want to fetch yourself, it's just another way to make a little bit of profit. And what I recommend people doing, if you're interested in actually enchanting your bolts, if you do something alongside it as well, whether it's fruit bats, pouches, collecting the papayas, again, not as good as it used to be, or collecting cave nightshade for weapon poisons as well, you can make even more profits because you're doing something or collecting something while you're doing your bolts. And it's not just that, if you've got any resources you want to get, or if there's any items which are worthwhile collecting, like white berries when they're at their peak, potato cactus, all these kind of things as well, you can do enchanting on the side and can make even more money alongside it as well. But hope you guys enjoyed the video though. I know we've sort of been over this once or twice, but I'd like to do a little refresher on this method as well, just to let you guys know that this is where it currently is. This is how much profit is involved, and this is why it's such a good way. Me personally, for an account, I would trade my account from 73 to 99 just with this Onyx bolts method. A, you will pay off a brooch, quite comfortably you'd pay off a brooch. But also, you give yourself a decent chunk of money going forward, whether you want to spend it on any other skill or a big item. Fletching is a really good way to get through to that higher tier of items if you need it as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please let me know. Drop me a comment below if you've got any sort of content you want to see, or if there's any part of the video you guys really enjoyed, and I'll make sure to focus on that more often as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.